There's a point in time where you just need to accept that the world has moved on. Now, brand managers would love this to be as soon as you bring your new model out or your new generation. However, reputations of brands tend to linger with a bad experience. So for example, my in-laws bought a Hyundai XL way back in the late 90s, I think it was, and still to this day they don't want a bar of Hyundai. And you couldn't blame them. Their car spent a lot of time in the shop, although it is 2 decades ago. None of the earlier Hyundais really had that same level of features as you get in a modern Hyundai. So they had you could get Hyundais that had a few extra trinkets and bits and pieces, but most of the time they were put in a fairly basic type piece of transport, and reliability was not a strong suit. Now obviously I can't judge the reliability of products like new products as they come out, but you can certainly have a look at and determine what sort of build quality goes into a particular product. If you have a look at something like this Hyundai Genesis and you have a look at the build quality in it, it's pretty impressive. Can't really see, you're going too fast. When it comes to features, it's pretty packed, particularly this ultimate spec. So I've got the dual moon roof or extra big sunroof, whatever you want to call it. GPS, very nice leather seats. And I don't know how many ways adjustable they are, but the lumbar support itself at least adjusts 8 ways. So it's pretty extensive, backwards, forwards. Your seat rest obviously is adjusted. In the back, it also has controls for the people in the back to be able to control the passenger seat to move it forward to give them more room. Obviously from a limousine sort of focus, having some of those controls in the back is beneficial. Not quite so beneficial when you have a couple of kids in the back that like to press buttons, but at least they can't move the driver's seat, so I was pretty safe. But when you have a look at the rest of the design of this vehicle and the presentation, it is pretty first rate. I mean, you pay for it. You're in the sort of $70,000 mark, around that sort of region to get one of these cars. But the consistent argument that I've got from co-workers is the fact that it still has that Hyundai badge on the back of it. Once you start the car, the seat will move into the position that you had it set for, so memory position 1 for example for me, or 2 for my wife. But it moves the seat to your prescribed position, the steering wheel moves out towards you, and the car gets ready for you to take control, which is kind of nice. Again, not really a necessary function, but it's something pretty. Someone's going to race me in a Skyline here. No, they're not. So performance from the 3.8 litre V6, it's pretty good, it's pretty sprightly. This is a fairly heavy car getting around the 2-ton mark. But it's actually quite surprising how well it holds on. I mean, it's got a little bit of body roll, but generally body control is fairly good. It is a luxury car, it's not a sports car. So it feels like you don't have the level of feedback you need to be able to grab it by the scruff of the neck and throw it around. But obviously this car isn't built for that sort of frivolity. It's more about just a comfortable, confident cruiser, and it certainly does that very well. And it doesn't feel like the brakes work very well, but when you stand on them, it does pull up with reasonable interest, I guess, because that's the general air of this vehicle. It seems to be apathetic to the needs of everyone else, and it's just about you doing whatever you want. But obviously when you need to react to a circumstance, it has the necessary capability to be able to keep you safe, or I guess raise half a smile. It is set up fairly restrictively when it comes to, oh, that's a mess. It's set up fairly restrictively when it comes to ESP, so if for some reason you manage to get the 275 wide tyres at the back to start slipping at some point, particularly on one side and not the other, it will cut power very quickly and basically pull a halt to the whole show.
Our distinguished guest for this evening is the Honourable Javid Khan. Our distinguished guest for this evening is the Honourable Javid Khan. Javid Khan. Javid Khan.
As entry model cars are entry model cars. Now, to have the same badge on an entry model car as what you've got on a top spec model like this, is that a good idea? I mean, that's really a decision for Hyundai, but I think it's a good idea because it ends up grabbing your brand and dragging it up. It starts making your reputation for well-made cars improve, even though I wouldn't say that an i20 or an i30 has the same sort of fit and finish as what you get in one of these. And it's certainly not as quiet, because this is a very quiet, very comfortable car. But you certainly need to be able to put your brand on your best effort, because this is a Hyundai. This isn't a Genesis sub-brand. Whether they do a Genesis sub-brand in the US or not, I don't know. But this is a Hyundai product, and really all the hard-working effort that goes into building this is supported by Hyundai, and they deserve to have their badge on the back of it. Now, I can say that from my point of view because I think that's the right thing to do. Whether or not that's the right thing to do from a sales perspective, I guess, can just be reflected in the actual figures themselves. But to me, this is a Hyundai. It's a great effort, and they deserve to be able to improve their brand reputation on the amount of skill and engineering that's gone into a product like this.
Javid Khan. Javid Khan. Our distinguished guest for this evening is the Honourable Javid Khan. Our distinguished guest for this evening is the Honourable Javid Khan.